"Oh," spluttered Mrs. Usk. "My leg." I looked on as she doubled over in a chair, rubbing a calf, picking uselessly at the frayed edges of a bandaging. Her heavy brown wig had slipped slightly to show wisps of white hair, floating and anchored, like sheep-wool traces caught on barbed wire. "Oh," she repeated, eyeing me beadily. "It don't get no better." No, would it? I prayed the old cuckoo wouldn't ask me to rewrap it. Not again. Not today of all days. I want a friggin' nurse, for Christ's sake. I were here to deliver pop. Her leg was so ulcerated and pitted, it were like massaging cold chicken skin. Not even industrial depot soap could rid my hands at stink of her ointment. The day was stacked against me. The milkman had found a body. Mrs. Usk wanted her leg seeing to. I would be too late for Matterhorn Man. Mrs. Usk motioned me further in, her jaw slackening and closing wordlessly, like a ruminant chewing cud. "Best I stay over here, Mrs. Usk. Stood in some doggy-do earlier on." Which were a lie. Course, I'd wanted to clap eyes on corpse. Couldn't be any worse than cat I'd found in water barrel with a ligature round its neck. Just a quick gander at death, then I'd go and sell pop. People die, people are born, and people buy pop. Mrs. Usk were levering herself out at chair with both arms. "Oh." My nostrils flared, catching the manky whiff of her room. Such a dingy room. The floral wallpaper a discoloured shade of piss, the moth-eaten rugs scarcely hiding the bare floorboards. Two mangy armchairs were angled towards a gas fire that hissed bleakly from fireplace. The stuffing oozing from one of them. She slept in here, the old bird. Slept in one of them there armchairs. She took the new bottle of ginger beer from me and shuffled off into the kitchen. "That's it, under the sink, go on, that's where you keep it. Behind that grubby gingham cloth." Mrs. Usk were faithful to her one bottle of ginger beer. Still, I thought, scratching my knackers through all in my pocket, she ain't a bad old crow. Not one of them cringing, whinging old crones on round who peer at you through crack of the door chains, or clack-clack the dentures at you, about young folk or darkies or war. They all littered the round, holed up in their stinking flats and decrepit houses, smelling of stale piss and imminent death. She might wear a hairnet and have a whiffy leg, but there was something brusque about Mrs. Usk. She never apologised for being old, not Mrs. Usk. She edged away over to the table by the window, where she sat down empty. "Bugger the doggy-do. Come in proper while I get you money." Her dappled old hands quivered as she reached for a buff envelope from behind mantel clock. The clock had an assured tock-tock and an expensive chime. An heirloom, perhaps. Even most addled old girl would notice if that went walkies, and Mrs. Usk's mind were lemon sharp. That clock were probably the only thing of value she had. Then again, maybe she was secretly loaded. The elderly accumulate. They hoard. They store. They stash. Something brushed against my feet. Lord Snooty, her unfeasibly fat tomcat, lurking under the table, blinking up at me like it knew what I were thinking. I said, "I can't stay long, we're running late." "I thought maybe you weren't coming, that you'd miss me out again." "Would I do that, Mrs. Usk?" She tucked an errant lock of hair beneath her net, looked at me askance. I twitched to be gone, as she painfully counted out money for ginger beer. She always got it wrong. Her hands hovered shakily over coins. She wore a gold wedding ring, and another ring on the same finger, set with some fat, dark stone. The rings seemed welded into a bony finger. Anyone wanting to remove them would have to hack them off. "They found a body this morning," I said. Mrs. Usk ceased moving coins around. She examined the pile of coppers, tanners and bobs, as if she were reading tea leaves. "A body? My.